Welcome to the deep dive.
It's actually incredibly wild to watch. Most people are treating modern AI completely backward today.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly like buying $1 million supercar. You get this incredible feat of engineering, but you only drive it to the local shop.
Right.
You're wasting the engine's incredible true potential entirely. It doesn't actually change how you work daily.
It's a profound bottleneck in human-computer interaction. Today, we're moving away from standard web browsers. We're looking at a fundamentally different approach altogether.
We really are.
We're introducing a tool called Claude Cowork today. It's a local application running right on your machine. It physically interacts with your actual computer folders directly.
Which is huge.
We'll thoroughly explore its initial setup phase today. We'll cover 7 distinct workflow skills in depth. We'll even explore how it works overnight completely.
Yeah.
2-sec silence. It's a genuinely fascinating technological journey for us. Let's start with the standard web browser experience. Using an AI website feels exactly like a stranger. It completely forgets who you are every single time. Every time you close a browser tab, it effectively dies. It loses its entire memory of your professional identity.
Right. It has absolutely zero context about your life. It doesn't know your specific personal business rules. You have to explain everything from scratch constantly. It's exhausting to repeat yourself every single morning. I mean, it feels like training a brand new intern every day.
Which is deeply inefficient for actual focused deep work. Claude Cowork changes that frustrating dynamic entirely for you.
It really does.
You download it directly to your Mac or Windows. It lives directly on your actual physical hard drive. It's exactly like hiring a dedicated in-house employee.
Yeah.
You give them a permanent key to the physical office. They don't just offer generic hourly consulting advice. They understand your business intimately from the inside out. I'm really barked up. They can actually see the real work you're doing.
That's a really perfect way to conceptualize the difference. Cowork mode handles multi-step jobs completely autonomously for you. It actually creates new digital files directly in your folders.
Yeah.
It reads your existing documents to understand necessary context.
Oh, wow.
It knows your specific operational rules before you even ask. It isn't just sitting quietly in a distant cloud server. It's actively participating in your local digital environment.
I want to pause on that specific underlying mechanic. Why does having local folder access change the output? Fundamentally, why is that distinction so incredibly important here?
Well, because it completely eliminates redundant daily explanations and friction. It actively observes how your existing files are currently structured.
Okay.
It adapts to your specific organizational methods completely automatically. You write reports in a specific 3-act structure. The local AI sees that pattern actively. It replicates that structure flawlessly for you. It doesn't need a massive, exhausting prompt to understand context.
So it stops having amnesia and actually learns your workflow.
That's precisely the magic of this local system entirely. It remembers everything so you can finally forget.
A local employee absolutely needs a physical office space. You wouldn't hire someone and make them work in a hallway. We have to build a proper structured environment for it.
The initial installation process is actually very beautifully simple. You just download it directly from Claude.AI.
Yeah.
You simply pick the version for your specific machine.
Right.
It installs exactly like any normal everyday software application.
Right.
There is no complex technical coding required here whatsoever. It's accessible to absolutely anyone listening to us right now.
But the very next step is extremely critical indeed. When you open the application, you see 2 buttons. You must intentionally click Cowork instead of regular chat.
Yeah, that simple choice completely changes the underlying behavior. It activates the deep integration with your operating system. It basically grants the software active permission to do labor.
You also need to create a dedicated physical folder. This is a step many people accidentally skip over. I highly suggest putting it right on your desktop. Name this brand new folder AI Workspace for absolute clarity. Everything the AI builds will automatically appear right there. Reports, slides, and documents just magically populate the physical folder. 2-sec silence. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself.
Right, and that conversational drift is incredibly frustrating.
Exactly. You start asking for a simple data summary. 10 prompts later, the AI is giving you a philosophical essay. Having a physical folder keeps the outputs totally grounded. It stops the AI from wandering off into vague abstractions. It forces the system to produce tangible, finished documents.
What exactly happens if a user accidentally stays in chat mode? Do they just lose access to all these local features?
It just reverts to a standard conversational browser tool. It won't take any direct physical desktop actions whatsoever. It won't create or organize your actual local files. You're basically locking the digital employee out of the office.
Got it. Chat is talking, Cowork is doing actual labor.
Now that our physical digital workspace is completely built, we can tackle surviving the deeply messy morning inbox. The human brain is simply not designed for this daily chaos.
The first 30 minutes of work are usually terrible. We all know that specific heavy feeling upon waking.
Absolutely.
You grab your phone, you see 50 unread emails, 3 urgent notifications, a calendar invite that overlaps with another crucial meeting.
Yeah, this is rough.
It's cognitive overload before you've even had a drop of water. It's a profoundly messy and exhausting daily administrative chore. You're constantly clicking through 5 different software applications rapidly. You're triaging chaotic noise before you even start real work.
It drains your cognitive battery immediately in the morning.
Yeah.
You spend your peak mental energy just organizing pure chaos.
The morning briefing skill completely eliminates this morning friction. Instead of clicking around, you let the AI hunt. You just type one incredibly simple command to start. The AI hunts through your Gmail inbox completely automatically. It checks your Google Calendar for all upcoming meetings. It even actively scans the web for relevant industry news.
It pulls all this scattered data into one place. For example, you can give it a highly specific prompt. You tell it to focus on important client emails only.
Right.
You ask it to remind you about specific strategic meetings. The AI handles the complex parsing of all incoming data. It builds a beautiful, highly readable summary document for you.
I genuinely love drinking coffee while the AI works.
Yeah.
It handles all the stressful morning triage tasks completely silently. You start the day feeling completely clear and highly organized.
Yeah.
You don't feel overwhelmed by messy digital noise anymore. It's exactly like having a dedicated chief of staff briefing you.
But let's dig into the underlying mechanism here deeply. How does the AI determine what an important email actually is? How does it effectively separate the signal from the noise?
It actively leverages your defined rules and past behavior. It learns which specific senders you prioritize over time. It recognizes the vital context of ongoing important project threads.
Okay.
A vendor emails about a delayed shipping timeline suddenly. It flags that immediately because it knows your project deadlines.
It essentially acts as a filter for the morning noise.
Exactly right. Your mind is finally completely clear for deep work.
Deep project work usually requires extensive, tedious background research. This messy process inevitably leaves you with too many tabs.
Oh, so many tabs.
Browser becomes a chaotic wall of tiny text quickly. You have Wikipedia open. You have 3 different dense industry reports loaded. You're trying to hold disparate facts in your fragile human memory. It fragments your attention across a dozen different windows constantly.
It's very easy to get completely lost in information. You lose sight of the actual big picture entirely.
Yeah.
The research assistant skill delegates this entire messy process.
Right.
You simply tell Claude exactly what you are desperately seeking. You let it do the heavy cognitive lifting for you.
It handles the hard work of hunting for verified facts. It doesn't just give you a generic, unhelpful short answer. It creates a professional, multi-part file directly in your folder.
Yeah.
It structures the information logically for your immediate practical use. It physically writes a brand new document into your workspace.
This specific output file includes a clean summary for your boss. It deeply covers the detailed background of the specific problem. It systematically lists all the most important factual data points.
It even provides a dedicated list of verifiable web links. You could effortlessly research the entire 2026 car market. The resulting document is incredibly detailed and highly structured.
Wow.
Or you could easily track new emerging no-code application trends. The AI synthesizes hours of painful reading into minutes of value.
But wait, I have to push back on this slightly. Does delegating deep research inherently increase the risk of AI hallucination? Do we have to worry about it inventing false facts? Because that's a massive problem with standard language models normally.
It actively grounds itself in verifiable specific external sources. It builds a dedicated list of actual tracking links. You can manually verify every single claim it ever makes. It maps every single summary point directly to a specific URL.
It anchors the summary to actual data, reducing made-up facts.
Precisely. Deep research inevitably leads to team discussion meetings eventually. You have to share these complex findings with your human colleagues. You have to actively debate the implications of the gathered data,
Right.
which directly leads to our next major workflow bottleneck. Long one-hour Zoom calls usually end in total, absolute confusion.
Oh, absolutely. People talk in endless circles without making any firm decisions. Bob thinks Sarah is handling the major client pitch. Sarah assumes Bob is creating the presentation slides.
Yeah, classic.
You hang up, and the project is effectively stalled for another week. Everyone leaves the call entirely unsure about what to do next. It's a massive structural problem for modern remote teams. You talk for an hour without generating any clear resolutions.
It makes the daily workflow feel incredibly messy and disjointed. We lose so much crucial momentum in these vague conversations. The meeting notes skill definitively fixes this exact structural issue. It brings absolute clarity to messy human verbal interactions. The AI acts as an objective, emotionless observer of human chaos.
You simply take the raw transcript from Zoom or Google. You feed that massive block of text directly to Claude. You ask it to thoroughly analyze the entire conversational flow.
You prompt it to list the 3 most important actions. It handles all the tedious administrative paperwork completely seamlessly. It extracts the core value from an hour of rambling.
It organizes incredibly messy thoughts into a perfectly clean list. It ensures nothing crucial gets forgotten in the digital shuffle. It essentially acts as a highly competent executive assistant.
I'm curious about the nuance of its deep language processing. Does it capture subtle verbal agreements or just explicit commands? Sometimes people agree to things without using formal business language. Humans are notoriously messy when we talk to each other daily.
Well, it deeply parses the whole conversation flow to find commitments. It understands linguistic context even when people speak very vaguely.
Okay.
It spots the implied tasks hidden deeply in casual team chatter. Someone casually mentions they'll look into a specific metric later. The AI catches that and assigns it as a firm action.
It translates vague meeting chatter into concrete marching orders.
Once you have your clear marching orders perfectly ready, you usually have to pitch them to a team or client. And that requires building a compelling, structured visual narrative. Sponsor.
Welcome back to our comprehensive deep dive on Claude Cowork. Pitching new ideas usually means formatting stressful slide decks late. It drains a massive amount of your creative daily energy.
You easily lose your whole night fixing terrible presentation fonts. You're nudging a text box 2 pixels to the left constantly.
Yeah.
Then you nudge it 2 pixels back to the right again. It's soul-crushing work that doesn't actually add value to the core idea. You stress over picking the exact right background colors constantly. It's incredibly frustrating when you just want to share ideas.
The slide deck generator skill completely automates this tedious process. It feels like pure magic because it handles the boring parts. It generates incredibly smooth, professional HTML web presentations very quickly.
Let's clarify what that actually means for the non-technical listeners. HTML simply means native web code your browser already reads.
You could generate a 10-slide Facebook ads guide almost instantly. You just clearly describe your core idea to the AI.
Right.
The actual graphic design work is completely handled for you entirely. It perfectly formats the text and images into a logical flow.
These automatically generated slides aren't visually boring at all. They have perfectly smooth movements and a highly professional aesthetic. But sometimes you need to explain deeply complex system concepts. Plain presentation slides are simply not enough for hard technical problems.
That's exactly where the visual explainer skill shines brightly. It generates highly interactive, clickable web pages for hard concepts. It turns highly abstract data into something you can physically explore.
You could easily map out blockchain or AI customer service. It completely replaces dense technical jargon with very clean visual diagrams. Your audience understands the complex mechanics almost immediately upon looking.
2 seconds. The diagram generator skill takes this visual mapping even further. It actively writes specific structural code for a tool called Excalidraw. Excalidraw is a popular digital whiteboard drawing application for teams.
Drawing digital boxes and arrows by hand takes a terribly long time. This automated tool saves 80% of your manual drafting effort. You can easily map out intricate customer purchase journey flows. It builds the skeletal structure of your complex ideas in seconds.
It's exactly like stacking Lego blocks of data. It snaps complex ideas together into a perfectly clean structure. It makes systemic thinking incredibly visual and easy to grasp.
Why does it export to Excalidraw instead of drawing basic images? Why not just generate a standard flat picture file for us?
Excalibur uses totally open whiteboard code for all its shapes. This mathematical approach makes the final diagrams completely and easily editable. You can manually adjust the lines after the AI finishes drawing. A flat image file would effectively trap you in the generated design.
It speaks the native language of your digital whiteboard tool.
These pre-built capabilities are undeniably incredible for general office productivity, but every single listener's actual daily job is entirely fundamentally unique. A generic set of tools can only take you so far realistically. This strict uniqueness demands a highly customized approach to workflow automation.
This specific reality brings us to the most incredibly important feature. The Skill Creator is a literal meta-skill tool for your workflow. It's the powerful mechanism that makes the AI truly yours alone.
It's a highly specialized capability that literally builds other capabilities. Every specific profession requires an entirely different set of daily tools. A marketer naturally needs different tools than a software engineer, obviously. This turns the AI into a truly bespoke, highly personalized employee.
The AI actively interviews you deeply about your specific daily job. It asks highly detailed questions about your exact workflow preferences daily.
Right.
It figures out exactly how you prefer to deeply process information. It asks you questions you probably haven't even thought about. Do you want an aggressive or passive tone in your outreach?
Then it independently writes new operational instructions to build custom skills. You could easily create a skill strictly for writing TikTok scripts. It would know exactly how long they should realistically be.
Or a dedicated tool to write shop blog posts perfectly consistently. It actively learns your personal writing style and replicates it flawlessly. It works exactly how you want every single time without repeating. It basically becomes a seamless extension of your own creative brain eventually.
Do you need to know a programming language to build these custom skills? It sounds like a highly technical developer task at first glance. Building custom software usually requires months of intensive coding knowledge.
Not at all. You just use totally natural, normal, daily human conversation. The underlying system translates your plain English directly into operational code. You just naturally describe what you want the tool to do.
So anyone can effectively become a software developer using this.
You just converse, and it codes the new capability itself.
Exactly. Now, your AI has highly customized personal skills for your job, but it urgently needs to talk to the rest of the software world.
Yeah.
It has to reach entirely outside your local, isolated desktop folder. A local file is practically useless if it can't be seamlessly shared.
We need to make the AI completely physically autonomous right now. We do this by actively linking it directly to the open internet. We can also systematically put it on a rigid automatic timer.
Connectors let Claude seamlessly communicate with your other daily external applications. By itself, the local application only sees files on your physical computer. But connectors brilliantly help the AI safely reach the broader internet. They act as digital hands reaching out deeply into the cloud.
You can easily link it directly to your primary Gmail account. It can automatically draft complex email responses based on your specific rules. It lives quietly in your folder but acts aggressively in your inbox.
It intimately connects to Google Calendar and a powerful tool called Zapier. Zapier is essentially a digital bridge connecting thousands of different software apps. It acts as the central nervous system of the modern internet economy.
That specific Zapier connection opens up over 8,000 different distinct applications. You can effortlessly connect Claude directly to Trello or Slack very easily. It can move massive data between platforms without any human intervention.
Whoa. Imagine scaling to 1 billion queries across 8,000 apps. The amount of leveraged human output is just completely staggering. It fundamentally breaks the linear relationship between time and productive output.
It makes your daily operational workflow feel completely and utterly automatic. It's like having a sprawling factory where the machines talk to each other silently. Then we importantly have the scheduled tasks automatic timer feature available. This is where the autonomy reaches a completely new level entirely.
You can strategically set the morning briefing for exactly 7 a.m. daily. You can automatically schedule deep sales checks for every single Friday afternoon. The AI actively executes these complex multi-step routines while you're busy elsewhere.
What exactly happens if the laptop goes to sleep overnight entirely? Can it still execute these tasks while the screen is totally black?
The physical computer and application must firmly remain open and totally awake. The local physical machine has to actively trigger the scheduled timer mechanism. It strictly relies on your hardware's internal clock to fire off workflows.
The computer must stay on for the night shift.
We deeply need to distill the main core takeaway for you today. This incredible paradigm shift isn't just about getting better search answers anymore. It's a massive, fundamental shift in human-computer interaction history right now.
We're rapidly moving away from purely reactive, standard search engine models entirely. We're actively embracing highly proactive, deeply embedded digital partners instead completely. It fundamentally changes how we actually think about executing our daily tasks.
It actively and autonomously manipulates your personal local files in the background. It independently executes profoundly complex workflows while you focus your attention elsewhere entirely. It's a foundational restructuring of the modern knowledge worker's daily reality.
I highly encourage you to simply download the desktop application today immediately. Try actively running the morning briefing skill early tomorrow morning for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll genuinely feel the immediate profound difference in your daily baseline stress. It's incredibly liberating to let the machine handle the daily morning chaos.
It fundamentally and permanently alters your entire daily working relationship with modern technology. 2-sec silence. If an AI can now build its own skills, research its own data, and execute tasks while you are literally asleep, what exactly is the definition of your work anymore? Are you still the creator, or have you just become the manager of a digital ghost? Out to your own music.